just let me quote that young man, the scripture that he wrote, that he read in Acts. And the Spirit said to Philip, the Spirit said, and that's what I want to share with you today, the question is, how does God speak? How do we know His voice? And does He speak? Well, we just heard from that young preacher. He read the word. The Spirit said to Philip. So, yeah, the Lord speaks to us today. Just for you ladies that are going to the retreat, if you go in when Marianne, you'll have to kind of get this together so I can, and the church will pay for your rooms. So if you want to go, let Marianne know, and we'll pay for your rooms. And if we really get blessed financially, which I expect we're going to, that we will be able to pay for some of you to go the cost of the conference. So pray with us and we'll just see what happens. The best way to show you how the Spirit of the Lord speaks is by example. And I want to run through a few examples here of how the Lord spoke, and let you decide how you want Him to speak to you. But no matter, you've got to let Him talk to you. You're going to have to learn His voice. You're going to have to know His voice, if you haven't already. The voice of the Lord came in 1 Kings 19 to the prophet. And the end was that God spoke out of a still small voice. God spoke out of a mighty wind. God has spoken through angels to men who were in prison. He speaks through the prophet. He also speaks to us through death. You have to understand, a lot of us are afraid of death and dying. But if you're hearing the voice of the Lord, you don't have to be afraid of death, unless you're in the position of Ananias and Sapphira. But even as they fell dead at the feet of the old prophets, death spoke to the people around them. And He speaks with a great voice. He speaks through His word. He speaks through His prophets. He speaks through pastors. He speaks through the fivefold ministry. He speaks to us in dreams and in visions. And for just a moment, I want to share with you a vision that I had so that you can understand how God still speaks to us in visions today. We might not understand the whole of it, but Thursday night, I was not tired, and I was reading a book, and I decided I'd go to bed and read till I got sleepy. And I read and I got sleepy, and I turned over to put the book down, and I looked at the clock, and it was 5 minutes to midnight. I didn't think I had read that long, but it was 5 minutes to midnight. Turned the light off and I laid my head down. And within moments, I was in a vision. And I was seeing a vision. And I was in this vision. And I felt the presence of the Lord all around me. And I thought for a moment, my thought was that that these were angels that had come and surrounded me. And I heard the voice of the Lord saying to me, that presence is not angels, but it's the living word that I have surrounded you with. And I can't tell you what it looked like. I can tell you what I think it looked like. It looked like a band of gold, but it was filigreed. It was not solid. It was, and this band of gold moved. And it was, as I looked at it, it just moved. And it stopped, and it moved, and it stopped, and it moved, and it stopped. And I thought it was, if you've ever tore a watch apart and looked at the little coggy things in there and how it moves and stops and moves and stops, that's kind of what I thought it was. And this living word was slowly rotating around me, and it was moving almost imperceptibly from right to left. And it didn't move again, and it just kept circling around about me. And I was in the middle of this word, and it was almost like being inside of a gyroscope. I was inside of it, and I thought, how do we explain this? And as I was thinking about this, it appeared to me like, if any of you have seen some of the old movies, and I think it was Universal Studios that had a world in a ring around the world, and that's kind of what it looked like to me, except I was inside of this presence of the Word, and I was turning in every direction, but somehow I always felt like I was upright, but I was moving inside of this Word, this presence of the Lord. And even when I was standing and I felt like I was upside down, but I felt like I was upright. And when I moved, this presence of the Lord moved inside of me. And it was like Ezekiel's vision of a wheel in a wheel. And I had a little more understanding of that vision of Ezekiel, because that's how I felt. I was turning like a wheel turned, but I was inside of another wheel that was outside of me. And while I was watching this going on, it seemed all of a sudden that my hair, the hair I have, it turned into flames of fire. And this fire was just coming up out of my hair, off of my head. And I was speaking something, I was saying something, I don't know what it was, but I knew that every word that I spoke was creative. Just every word, whatever I was probably preaching. and then I changed and I didn't see myself inside of that inner realm of the Spirit of God, but I was changed into